Tonight on Dice to Pixels, we're going to shadow drop our reactions to the Game Awards winners and losers.
Yeah, well, were there any winners, really? I mean, I feel like everybody involved was a loser.
But I will say there were quite a few that I called it a few episodes back. I think we all kind of unanimously agreed Baldur's Gate 3 was going to be Game of the Year. Baldur's Gate 3 is your Game Awards Game of the Year.
Yeah.
And much like last year when I'd said the same about Elden Ring, because Elden Ring was my Game of the Year last year. And it was Game of the Year. I get it.
I think at the time I basically said the only thing that could stop Baldur's Gate 3 was that it wasn't out on Xbox yet, but that I was still reasonably sure it was going to get it. Honestly, I don't think there were that many major surprises. My opinions of the Game Awards hasn't really changed from last year. It's kind of dumb.
Yep.
But with that said, let's talk through a couple of the ones that you were grumpy about, Chad.
So, well, I mean, right off the bat, when we talked about this a couple episodes ago, and I actually don't remember them announcing it during the show, but the Accessibility Award.
Yeah.
Now, it's great that a lot of these game studios are including accessibility options in their games and all that. That exactly. If you have bad lung capacity, right?
Yeah.
No, it is a good option. I'm glad that more game studios are including that in their games. But when you have a category that is specifically for innovations in accessibility and you don't include the two controllers that both Sony and Xbox released this year as nominees, that's a failure. Like I'm all for Forza Motorsport won that category. I don't know what the accessibility options are in that game because I've only kind of raced a few times in it. But accessibility, like the controllers are all about accessibility to play all games.
Yeah, I mean, this is part of the broader issue that I have with the Game Awards is that they don't give any sort of criteria, metric. They don't even really give any like broad idea of what the award means.
Mm-hmm.
Like what accessibility are you looking for?
Mm-hmm.
Does lane assist count as accessibility?
Apparently, driving assists do.
Right. Like
braking, throttle, steering.
Sure. So it's like, okay, well then the best game of the year is the one that allows you to just have the AI play it for you and you don't have to do anything. There's your accessibility winner.
Mm-hmm.
You dumb fucks.
It's a movie.
Yeah, right. So Baldur's Gate 3 then.
Yes.
Yeah, like it's just they don't talk about anything, and it's like if you thought that Forza was better than those controllers, then you need a separate category for actual legitimate accessibility tools. Because fine, there was some software features in there that made driving easier for people who couldn't control it well. Having the game step in for you when you can't control it is, yes, it's accessibility, but allowing you to overcome whatever disability to play anyways, i.e. the controllers that were released, that's actual accessibility. Yeah. So the fact that they didn't include them is just, it's indicative of the whole fucking show. It's gone downhill. It started kind of weird. Dropping things. Don't worry about it.
Goddamn cat.
Oh no! It started kind of iffy and it's been going downhill. Like every year I'm more and more blasé on it because it's just stupid.
I think why Forza Motorsport won is because there is blind driving assists.
Right.
Which that's really cool.
Sure.
I think
sure.
I like
and hey, as a nomination, great.
Yeah.
No problem. And maybe even the winner. I don't know that much about it.
But to completely disregard in your nominations.
Fucking dumb that those controllers, at least one of the two wasn't on the list is ridiculous.
I think they realized they fucked up and that's why it was not on the show.
Yeah,
because there would have been more tweets about it.
I don't remember it at all. Sure.
Extas.
Extas?
Ext. It's harder to say.
God damn it. Why'd you have to go and change that?
It's like texts, except drop the T.
It's fucking tweets.
Sure.
Yeah, and again, I do not discredit the accessibility options in these games. It's just the controllers were literal advances and innovations in accessibility. So,
Mhm.
Well, to me, it's very simple. The controllers potentially open up all games to certain people.
mhm.
These games open up certain aspects of a game.
Yep.
Fine if something has, like, if the blind drive assist stuff in Forza is truly that groundbreaking.
Mhm.
I don't know. I didn't play it. Fine. But to not even have those on the nomination list is unbelievably stupid.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. Like we were saying before, like, I think somebody realized they screwed up and that's why they didn't make a
They
big deal
probably
of it.
have people writing in asking why
Yeah,
were these
where
not
the
in?
hell? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. The other one that I was a little puzzled on was the best ongoing game. Now, to me, like the best ongoing game, I look at, and we've talked about this before. I look at games like MMOs like World of Warcraft, or one of the actually four of the nominees in here are online games that are constantly being updated. You had Apex Legends, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and Genshin Impact. But then Cyberpunk 2077 was a nominee.
Yeah.
And that is primarily a single player game that just had a DLC drop, but then they've also just dropped an Ultimate Edition, which is basically a Game of the Year edition.
Yeah.
All in one shebang. So to me, like best ongoing game, when I hear that, I'm thinking, okay, so it's a game that's still being played. And I look at Fortnite, the amount of announcements that they had for Fortnite, expanding that game's universe with the Lego Fortnite, with the racing,
Yeah.
just all the various seasons and just the things that they're doing in Fortnite. Like that, to me, that was like, and I've never played it. I've never been a fan of Fortnite, but I acknowledge the fact that as an ongoing game, that they really fucking do their work with that.
Constantly adding new characters to play as. There's always events going on in there.
Yeah.
So I was puzzled when Cyberpunk 2077 won Best Ongoing Game.
Yeah, I mean, I knew it was going to. Like I said the last time we talked about them, I knew Cyberpunk would, because it was the biggest news of the moment when they were doing the nominations, because they pick the winners when they nominate them, right? Like it's not like they actually nominate them and then decide the winner. They already picked the winner when they did the nominations.
Yeah.
And Cyberpunk had released the major update right around the right time. So I already knew that it was going to win. I agree. It's doesn't make sense, but I wasn't surprised. I knew that was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
But this is another case where metrics, right? Like, what the fuck criteria are you basing this on?
Yep.
If it's user counts, then I think any of those MMOs probably beat Cyberpunk.
Mm-hmm.
If it's longevity, then it's Half-Life, because Valve released a fucking update to original Half-Life so that you could play it well on the Steam Deck. Like, there's just so many ways that it's like, give us your criteria so that we have some idea what you're basing this on.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, this is just a meaningless piece of shit.
Yeah. And that was my issue, is that because Cyberpunk is purely a single player focused game. Like,
I mean, I don't have a problem with that, right?
No,
like, if it legitimately were a long term game and it was ongoing and everything else, cool. It got DLC. That's like, sure, that's that's ongoing, fine. Yeah. But what's your criteria? Like, why did it win? What made that so impressive that it's the winner of this category?
And why weren't more single-player games with DLC that came out this year nominated?
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
Point? Because when I hear a category of best ongoing game, my mind does go to like MMO-style games where it is...
They would be the obvious choice.
Yeah. Because if Cyberpunk 2077 can win as a single-player game with DLC, well then... Power Wash Simulator could also fall into this category because they had a bunch of free releases. They've had 2 paid DLCs come out in the last year.
You mentioned Minecraft at dinner, which is a great call.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Like there's so many other games that could be on that list. The only reason Cyberpunk is because it happened to happen right around the nomination time. Yeah. And that's why I knew it would win, or was pretty confident it would win, was just because recency bias. But yeah, I agree. Like that entire category is completely cheapened by the fact that it was selected because it's like, what does that even mean?
Yeah.
So it's puzzling then why Cyberpunk wasn't nominated for Best Action or
Sure.
Best Action Adventure Game.
Yeah,
Because
right.
honestly, with a game world like Cyber, especially now that it's
Finished.
it's a finished game and it plays
Yeah.
fucking great now. Like, why wasn't that like in one of the nominated sections? You know?
Well, or for that matter, like, did Baldur's Gate 3 get any patches since it was released? I assume it did.
Yep.
So
Oh,
does
it
that make
has.
it? Does
Yeah.
that make it an ongoing game? Should
Yeah.
it have won?
Yeah.
Like,
And even if you go with the multiplayer, if it has to be a multiplayer, which clearly it doesn't, but if it
Clearly
had to be a
not.
multiplayer, Baldur's Gate still counts.
sure, yeah.
Yep.
It's just it. I know exactly why it won,
Yes.
Yeah.
and it's
Yes.
effing stupid. But and I feel that way about most of the Game Awards
Well, and
stuff.
and the last one I'm kind of
Yeah,
annoyed
yeah.
about.
Go for it.
So this one they couldn't have telegraphed this one any better because they had a musical performance for a song from Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and the song's great. The like it's a really good song. Listening to it being played live was great. But then immediately afterward, they had the most anticipated game, and the first nomination on that list was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Now, Hades 2, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth, Star Wars Outlaws, and Tekken 8 were also all nominees. Personally, I'm more looking forward to Hades 2 because Hades 1 was one of my game of the years from years past. Star Wars Outlaws is an MMO that's going to be made by the people that did The Division. So
Yeah.
that's probably, but
Can we just short circuit this by saying the actual winner was GTA 6?
yeah.
Like, what the fuck? If
Yeah.
you're going to have a stupid category of anticipated and not include GTA 6, the fuck are you doing?
I hadn't even considered that till you just said it. I'm like, yeah. Because when they announced that it was going to be happening earlier this year
Yeah.
too. So
Yeah.
It'll win next year.
Probably.
yeah, because it's not coming out until
Yeah.
2025.
And so maybe that's part of the criteria. But like, I didn't see any legitimate criteria for the most anticipated. So I don't know.
Mhm.
What the hell?
Yep.
Like Hades 2, I'm looking more forward to playing. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I mean, I will play, but I'm not chomping at the bit to it. But no, GTA 6, hell yeah.
If there is a game that I would say was definitively the most anticipated this year, it has to be GTA 6. I can't
Mhm.
think of anything else that even comes close.
Mhm.
I also think that entire category is completely fucking stupid because like why is that award worthy?
I know.
What?
I
Oh, you might do something in the future? Yay!
we're gonna put the award up on the shelf of the developers as they're working on the game, so they
Yeah.
can just like look at it.
Right. Yeah, like that category is really dumb. But
Mhm.
so anyways, as you were saying, like Final
Yeah.
Fantasy won it. That was stupid. They telegraphed it. It was really dumb.
Yeah, it was massively telegraphed, but
But,
yeah.
but
Yeah, it's-
that category was so
Oh,
stupid.
it was like it started. The show started off awards wise. We're not going to bother with the esports shit.
Yeah.
We talked about that last year. I don't want to waste any more breath than I do on it. So
If you want to know the summary, just go to any of our social media, Instagram, TikTok,
Well,
X. There is a short there.
well, and like aside from that, like none of us care about the esports stuff. But aside from that, I think that all those categories are stupid based solely on the fact that like if you're in the esports world, you either already know the results of that,
Mhm.
or you're just going to be mad that they didn't pick your thing. So what's the point?
yeah, yeah,
But yeah, no, the esports thing, what you were getting at was like they got that out of the way like right at
Yeah.
the beginning, which was
Yeah.
I think a good choice.
Yeah.
I think they learned from last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the vast majority of people don't care about it because even the people that do care about esports don't care what they think about esports.
No.
Mm.
So
Yeah. I'll say this though. I was quite pleased that 3 of my top 5 games of 2023 all won an award at some point.
Yep.
The best debut indie game was won by Cocoon, which if you haven't played that yet, it's on Game Pass, and I cannot recommend that enough. Give it a go. It's a great game. It's on all the other platforms. It's a fun puzzle platformer that just had a unique way of telling a story.
Yeah.
And it was really, really, really good. The gameplay's fun. It was fantastic. Check it out. They won Best Debut Indie Game.
Well, the other thing that I think we all mostly agreed on was that both in the debut indie and the indie game, which we'll get to in just a second, pretty much all of the picks were good, right?
Yeah,
like they were.
If any of them had won, we all would have been like, yeah.
So, I mean, I agree. Cocoon and Sea of Stars, which was the indie game.
Cocoon, I was actually surprised Cocoon won the Best debut because honestly, I thought it was either going to be Dredge or Venba.
Well, I knew Venba wouldn't win that because they were going to win the diversity
impact one,
and I didn't figure they'd win too. But I did wonder about Dredge.
Yeah. But and then as you said, the Best Independent Game, Sea of Stars. We were watching the Game Awards, and the entire time it went up, I was sitting there the whole time and was like, Sea of Stars, Sea of Stars, Sea of Stars, and Sea of Stars won. But again, it wouldn't have mattered who won that category because, like we have just said, Cocoon was great. Dave the Diver is fantastic. That is an amazing game. Dredge is another amazing game. Sea of Stars and Viewfinder is really good as well.
Yeah.
You couldn't go wrong with that list of games.
No, I do think that Sea of Stars, for the reason that I mentioned earlier at dinner, it was both really well done and it was sort of the biggest of those games. I think that's fair to say. So I think it's fair that it won that category. I think I would have picked it the same way. But yeah, all of them were good.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't like any of them didn't deserve to be recognized.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And actually there was a trailer around these two indie game awards being announced of a merge between Dave the Diver and
Dredge.
Oh yeah.
I think it might be a DLC possibly for both of them, but it's like, it's a crossover of it. It looked kind of cool.
That'll be fun.
Dave the Diver was just, my God, that game is so good.
It has a great gameplay loop.
It is so good.
Man, it's all about the indie games.
It's
all about the indie games.
But my other game that won, Hi-Fi Rush. They won Best Audio Design, which hell yeah, like that's the music for that game, and even incorporating the music into the gameplay of that, it's fantastic. Again,
I think that's why it won.
Yeah, and again, it's another one that's on Game Pass. It has, if you took Devil May Cry and added like Dance Dance Revolution or like a timed button press mini game to the combat of everything. It's super fun. It's a bright, vibrant, colorful world. The music's excellent, and the game is fantastic too. I definitely check that out. It's on Game Pass, so yeah.
I mean, I think the music design and art direction are both kind of silly categories, only because they're mostly like very subjective. There's very little like your criteria for that is very hard. But in the case of Hi-Fi Rush, because the sound was actually integral to the game, it's like, okay, sense. Like that's fair.
Yeah.
I think I agree with you up to a point. I think sound design and I guess like overall score for it, I think that does matter because if it doesn't have a good one or if it doesn't match the mood and style of the like both the art and the style of the game, that can make or break a game. But art direction, I definitely agree that is so subjective because they had like realistic art as well as hand-drawn type stuff like with Hi-Fi Rush. Like that's like comparing apples to oranges.
You can't compare those two things. And so actually that's kind of where I come in from the sound aspect as well. Like don't get me wrong, a crappy soundtrack to a game is bad. Like it's pretty easy to give awards for like this game had shit sound. But at the same time, something could have a really good polyphonic track and something else can have like a full-on fucking orchestra. Yeah. And both can be perfectly suited to the game. Which one do you pick? And the answer in this case will almost always be the orchestra because it's grander, and they will pick it because it's the grander option.
Okay,
but it doesn't actually mean it's better. Like that's subjective, right?
Yeah.
Like Super Mario Brothers 1, in my opinion, has one of the best soundtracks because it's perfect and it stands up to today. But it would never win a sound design. Not in
No,
today's
yeah.
world, not a chance.
It's almost like they need subcategories for like specific types of music, but then that just goes into the weeds so much more. But
Yeah. You really struggle with that stuff because a lot of it is subjective. It's kind of like when we're talking about there should be an award category, and we're going to give out awards for Diced Pixels later a little bit later this year.
Probably around Christmas.
Yeah, around Christmas. One of them was, I said, like the least buggy game. It's like, well, you can't do that, but you can do like the most buggy game, like the worst games. I feel like it's the same sort of thing with sound. Like you can easily say this was shit and this was good, but between these two good ones.
Yeah.
Thank you, because remember how before dinner or just after dinner, I was saying, fuck, there was something else that I wanted to bring up to you. And I thank for bringing up buggy games. I now remember it. And it's the day before.
Oh, okay.
Because it came out on Thursday and it's a fucking mess. But we'll
talk about that.
We'll get
later.
to that. We never. So yeah. We'll continue on, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
So to the point, best score in music. Final Fantasy 16 won it, and it does have a fantastic score. It does have a great composition that plays over the game.
But I think all the finalists had good.
Alan Wake 2 had really good music. They had a live performance of Alan Wake, one of the songs in Alan Wake 2.
So if you haven't played Alan Wake 2 and you heard that song, that is a song from a level where the entire level is a musical. It is the best.
Yeah.
In my case, the worst. But.
Yes, the best and the worst at the same time.
Baldur's Gate 3 was a nominee. Hi-Fi Rush, which this is where it kind of confused me, because if it had the best audio design, but it doesn't have the best score in music. So
yeah.
I'm like, okay.
And this is where it's like, this is all getting very subjective. And
it's almost so. Like with things like that, it's like they wanted to give it to both of them, but they just had to pick in between. Because like with the Oscars, usually whoever wins Best Director, that movie is going to win Best Film. Whereas like you can't, so far as I can tell from watching these, you can't count on that for best like direction in the game, winning Best Game of the Year, because Alan Wake 2 won Best Direction. Yeah. And Baldur's Gate 3 won Game of the Year. So it's like they want to give it to both of those. So they just pick which one.
Yeah. And the visual, like the art direction for all of the nominees they were all so different from each other. Like you had Alan Wake 2, which went for like the realistic approach to it all. Hi-Fi Rush, which went for the crazy, bright and colorful, musical world. Lies of P had a really good fucking visual style where it was like a steampunky Pinocchio.
Yeah.
Which was really, really good and creepy. Super Mario Brothers Wonder, it's Nintendo, what do you expect? And then of course
it had a very classic Zelda's. But it's one of those categories where it's like all of those except Zelda are like completely reasonable picks. And like winning, I don't know, like if I'm a game designer, does winning that award mean anything to me? Like,
I feel like the people that designed the basis of the art, that means something to them. But maybe, like, I am clearly an Alan Wake 2 fan. I would not have picked this for best art direction.
Yeah.
Like best art or whatever. Because it's like, it's really realistic. They gave pores and all this stuff. The only thing that, like it looked nice. The thing that really stood out to me was in the female protagonist, in her mind castle thing. She has a hand knit sweater on, and when you get in there and look really close, like you can see it pilling, and all of the stitches make sense.
Sure.
But I noticed that because I knit.
Yeah.
And so no one else is. So like I'm looking at that, and I like took screen grabs of it because I want to recreate that. I'm going to recreate that sweater.
Sure.
But like that's because that is my niche. I see that. But I would not I would have picked Hi-Fi Rush to win best art.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just like this comes back to it. It's all pretty meaningless because they don't say why.
Yes.
Right? Maybe they picked Alan Wake because of things like that. Maybe it's like, whatever your thing is, like as a woodworker, maybe if I went in and like looked closely at the cabinets, I'd find that they have like keyed miters and everything else, and I'd be like, that's fucking cool. Maybe there's a ton of that shit. I don't know. And without them telling me why they chose it, I'm like, oh, you just liked that art? I don't care that you personally liked that art. I mean, great, good for you, but I don't give a shit. I don't know you.
Yeah.
This doesn't mean anything to me. So I don't know. Those sorts of categories to me seem really forced and weird.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they aren't, but they sure as hell feel like it because they never explain why.
Why? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just this one. Great. Cool.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Alan Wake 2 also won for best narrative, which I don't really have an issue with. They told their story. Like
and there's a lot going on in that story.
It's very, I mean, if you played Control, like this kind of connects to that, right?
Yep.
So
why, and as we've said before with it, I mean, it was a game about the story.
Yes.
So
it makes sense.
Yeah.
Fine.
Yeah.
That's a logical choice. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Game direction, though, I was a little like it won for that too. I was surprised.
I mean, again, my question comes back to like, what the fuck does that even mean?
Yeah, like I
what makes that game direction better than Super
Baldur's
Mario
Gate
Wonder
3 or Super Mario Wonder or Spider-Man 2?
Personally, I'm fucking thrilled with the direction of Super Mario Wonder because it's been ages since Nintendo built a proper platformer. I still think it's like too easy and they should have done more with it, but like I'm way happier that they went in that direction than another fucking Mario Galaxy or whatever. Mm-hmm. So if I'm going to pick, I'm going to be like, no, that one won because that's getting back to games that are actually good.
Yeah.
But that's my opinion. It's not legitimate. Like there's nothing backing that. It's just, I think that's the better way to go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And like you played Alan Wake too.
I mean, it's fantastic if you like that style of game. There's a lot of story and it's told in an interesting way. And like, there's so many elements going on. So if you're looking at it from the point of view of like keeping everything in line to keep the story, well, then that's just about the story and the writing in itself. That's not to do with the game itself.
Yeah.
Like,
it's very confused. I don't know, like picking between those, because I can see arguments for any one of them. Like Baldur's Gate 3 was arguably the most expansive, like logic tree of most any game. I mean, actually, there's games like Dwarf Fortress that are way deeper, but so like I could see why it was in the nominees. But like, how the fuck do you decide which one's better?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Yeah. That's just super weird. I would love to know why.
Yeah.
They really, really need to start like posting like a paragraph of why.
Or even if not why, just an explanation of what they are looking for in a winner in that category.
Sure. Either one. Yeah. Like either our criteria or this is why. If the criteria, if for whatever reason they don't think they can create criteria for it, at least after the fact say like, this is why we chose this one.
I mean, if you can't create criteria for a
don't
category,
fucking have the category.
Yeah, that's fucking real bad news there.
Yeah, I agree. But game direction to me was just even looking at it beforehand, I'm like, I don't know what this award is for.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. How is this different than Game of the Year?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But. Yeah, and then the individual categories, like we said, like best RPG, Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's again, this is another one where that could have went to anybody. Like you had Final Fantasy 16, Liza P. I kind of confused about.
In fairness, if you're gonna pick it as the Game of the Year, it better fucking win.
It better win the best.
Yeah,
exactly. Best action adventure. For some fucking reason, Zelda won this.
I don't.
They had to give them something.
Yeah, I mean, when you have Spider-Man 2 in there, to me, that's the best action adventure game I played this year.
Yeah, so. I think that was stupid. I don't think Zelda deserved that. But.
Yeah, and then the best action game, again, I would have probably gone with Hi-Fi Rush, but Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon won. I get it. You're piloting big mechs and you're blowing the shit out of other mechs. So
I mean, that's fun.
When it comes to an action game, you can't get more action-packed than that. I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it's probably a reasonable. I didn't play it, but it's probably a good choice. Who knows?
Yeah. So I mean, other than the few things that we talked about, before, it was the actor that played I can't.
I'll look it up. Just give me 1 second.
Yeah, he played the vampiric the vampiric elf in Baldur's Gate 3, Neil Newbin. He won the best performance in a game.
Asterion,
that's it, yeah.
Which I would like to see that category set on fire and left to die, personally.
Yeah.
Because that is not something that should be encouraged. Games are not fucking movies. Stop it!
Yeah, but it's voice performance.
Don't care.
Okay.
Games are not fucking movies. Stop it.
So,
but
yeah.
that I also accept that I am not the majority on that. But I hate that shit. I don't want that encouraged.
Yeah. But the best part of the entire fucking evening was the trailers.
Which, in fairness, that's why the show exists.
Yes.
Like
it's
nobody.
90%.
I shouldn't say nobody. I'm sure lots of people do care about the awards, but nobody I know particularly cares about the awards. They watch it because it's basically E3 for trailers, at least.
And you don't have to wear real pants.
Where did you put the notes for the?
It's in the folder there now.
Sorry.
Here.
But so there's a few interesting things come up, a few unexpected things.
Yeah.
So there's a new Jurassic Park first-person game that it could be terrible, but it's at least interesting.
I hate that it's first person because I panic in first person so easily. The trailer, I mean, it was paying so much homage to the scene with the kids in like when they were eating and in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Because there was like direct scene, like peeking around the counter and stuff. But yeah, I hope it's good.
It's intriguing. I don't hold much hope for it being particularly good.
Yeah,
but it is intriguing.
Yes.
It's been a long time since we've had an actual Jurassic Park game. I would be just as happy if they just remade the old Sega Jurassic Park game.
Never played it.
Oh, it was hard.
Maybe that will be in the Sega remakes that they're redoing that they announced.
No, which there was a bunch of them.
Oh,
no, but maybe there will be like an arcade game.
Well, because Jurassic Park isn't Sega's IP. So.
Yeah, it's a licensed property.
No, but maybe they'll like include the old. I think it was Sega, the old Jurassic Park game as like a playable.
In the game?
Cartridge.
Yeah. Right off the bat, the first trailer that caught my attention, the developers of Dead Cells, they threw out Windblown. It looks like a cooperative roguelike kind of game where you're playing as three students of clearly like a master of some type, but it showed some isometric kind of Diablo style combat where you're working together to defeat a baddie. It looked really good. So that one, I'm going to keep a keen eye on that one for sure.
We actually did miss one or two trailers or part of a couple at the very, very beginning. When we got in, there was a trailer going on for a protagonist that's deaf. And so a lot of communication is done with sign language. I don't really understand the entire premise of it. It looked pretty. It'll be interesting.
So looking at your notes too, this is another thing that because having worked together with you for a lot of the tech stuff and like the audiovisual stuff, they had such a hard fucking time keeping the fucking camera in focus last night.
Oh, really?
When they were so it was the one girl who thought she was funny, which
Sydney.
You're not. So just
or whoever wrote her jokes.
Yeah, whoever writes
her timing's bad.
You have a beautiful face and a beautiful voice. Write your own shit. But they would focus on, so like when the graphic would come up on screen and show you stuff, they would keep her out of focus. And she was like blurred, but it was ever so slightly blurred. And I noticed it just, again, having worked with you in the audiovisual thing.
So I can't say that I watched too much of it live. Were they like focus racking to a screen behind her?
No, it was literally just if you've seen a graphic right here that just pops like the news, it was just like that. But then she was all kind of blurred.
That's weird.
And it was really fucked, and it went on for like a few minutes.
But not even like they were trying to make her look like she's background blurred.
Just out of focus.
It was just out of focus. It was very, very annoying.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
What prompted that is because the notes that I made are very stream of consciousness.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. The sign language thing, I should have looked more into it. I haven't. We'll see.
Yeah. No, I'm just going to keep an eye out of
It's
interest.
an intriguing concept.
Exactly.
It will probably be done horribly.
Or it might be very small, because there was a game I played earlier or year or two ago, and it was a very small game. I think it came out on PC or PS Plus one time, and it was the protagonist was blind, but so it was a fully white screen. But as you moved through, you got impressions of what was around you, and you were looking for a cat through all of this, which was an interesting way of doing it.
I have never played it, but based on your description alone, I want to find whoever made it and slap them as hard as I possibly can.
Yeah. Oh, for the echolocation idea thing?
No, because why the fuck would you make it a white screen instead of black?
Yeah, right.
That just means I can't play it at night.
True.
Go fuck yourself.
I mean, it took all of 2 hours to play, so.
Fair enough, but still, you have choices, and maybe white's more appropriate for actual blindness. I don't know, but fuck you, I want to play it at night. Don't burn my retina out of my god. You're gonna try and make me blind? It sounds cool, but anytime somebody does an all white screen, I'm like, fuck you so hard.
I learned something too during the Game Awards. Chad's older than Capcom.
Oh, wow. Chad's older than everything. So,
well, most things, except for my parents.
Yeah, as I understand it, the crust of the earth is older than you in most places, but just most places.
No, maybe. The Capcom celebrating their 40th anniversary. In 2024. So.
What are you gonna do?
I got fucking 6 years on you, bitch. Also, too, the developers behind Persona 3, 4, and 5 are creating a new game called Metaphor. Looks very similar. Something to keep an eye out if you're a fan of that series of games. World of Goo 2.
Finally.
Honestly, at the very beginning of the trailer, the kids that were playing the original World of Goo, the way they talked and their faces, if you're young, you won't understand this, but it gave me salad finger vibes.
Oh, yeah?
Oh.
Nice.
I like to touch rusty nails with my salad fingers.
Salad fingers was great.
Let me use my strong hand.
So my problem with it is it should have been 30-year-olds playing it, because
I know
it's that fucking old. It's been so goddamn long. But yeah, World of Goo is finally coming out. I was interested personally, and I know I'm skipping ahead here in the stream of consciousness, but
Dick.
I was interested in the remake of Crazy Taxi and those guys. I'm not oh my god, I can't wait, but at the same time,
that's cool.
Those should be fun.
Yeah,
I wasn't expecting that.
Not at all.
Crazy Taxi. The Shinobi one caught my eye because it's in that 2D kind of. It looks like a hand-drawn graphical style too, so that caught my eye instantly. Golden Axe, they're going 3D, which they've tried going 3D with Golden Axe before, and it failed miserably.
Yeah, I'm not sure that will work, but I mean, hey, I'm here for the attempt.
But the way that it looked, at least anyway, if it's a cooperative kind of hack and slasher, I think it might.
There's no reason it can't work. Yeah. It's just that a large part of the charm of Golden Axe was the sort of isometric view of it.
And killing those fucking gnomes for their potions.
Damn right. So we'll see. But I'm here for the attempt. I like old games being remade and new stuff being added. So let's see.
God of War.
Yeah, this was actually kind of surprising. God of War Ragnarok. They announced that their God of War Valhalla, which is free DLC for Ragnarok, that comes out December 12th.
Yeah.
And they're experimenting with giving this a roguelike kind of gameplay loop. So that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting how that goes. The combat in Ragnarok's really fucking good though. So
yeah,
this will be fun. I'm gonna give that a try next week.
I think when you're playing that, I'll probably be upstairs playing something else.
Why?
Because it's a Souls-like game, and you're gonna
No, it's not a Souls-like. It's a roguelike.
Oh, roguelike. Sorry.
Yeah.
God, Sarah.
Soulsy roguely.
Rogues
It's not
don't
fucking Elden Ring.
rogues don't have souls.
They steal them though,
Yeah.
especially the ginger ones.
The Prince of Persia 2D Metroidvania that's coming out too is another one that I'm.
Yeah, in January.
Oh, yeah.
I can't imagine you being interested in a Metroidvania
No,
game.
it's like probably one of my favorite styles of game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I've never heard you talk about enjoying it. Or
No.
no, it looked cool.
Yep.
Um,
The Hellblade song.
Yes, there was a. I had to look it up
Oh, I
too because I
didn't see
can't remember
that.
the. So there was another performance by another group. It's a
okay.
Scandinavian
I thought
group.
you
They're
were talking
well
about a
established.
game.
No,
Yeah.
well, the game
Oh, yeah,
itself.
fair enough.
It's by Hellung. They're doing the main theme for Hellblade 2, and they performed, which was very, very good. They're all like I've watched them on YouTube before.
Yeah.
And they're like a traditional, I guess, Scandinavian type band. I could be very wrong. Apologies if I am, and that offends you. Sucks to suck. But
Well, now it offends them.
but yeah, the song was really good, and it's going to be day one release on Game Pass, so I will be playing the hell out of that.
Cool. Light No Fire, is it? That I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I'm looking forward to knowing more about it.
Yeah, the team Hello Games, they're the team that did No Man's Sky. Their president and lead developer guy, I can't think of his name, so I'm sorry. But he announced Light No Fire, which is a procedurally generated planet.
Yeah.
That you play on, and the trailer looked fucking amazing. It looks so good. It's like they took all of their expertise and like just the lessons they've learned with No Man's Sky and translated that into, because he had said that they've been working on this for 5 to 6 years. So okay,
Yeah,
cool.
very
And it's
quietly.
been a very small development team working on it. But you look at it and holy crap, does it look amazing. Like it looked really, really good.
Yeah. It'll be, I mean, we kind of touched on this when we were talking about it a bit earlier before the podcast. They just need to actually make it a game out of the gate this time.
Yeah.
Because like No Man's Sky became pretty good over time, but they need to actually make it a game.
Mhm.
I think that's going to be their biggest hurdle, because
Yeah.
even when we were watching it, I'm like, yeah, this looks really gorgeous and everything. I don't want to buy it right away because I lost a lot of trust with Hello Games right away. And just like the lead guy from Hello Games was the one that was introducing it too.
Yeah.
And so like, I don't know. Hopefully he's learned not to be so much of a yes man or whatever, but
Well,
yeah.
I don't think it's being a yes man. I think it's just more of
Over-promising?
over promising something.
Yeah.
Because I know with No Man's Sky, it was ambitious.
Yeah.
It was really fucking ambitious with what they were
Yeah.
doing, and to see how it's, because they ran that video of like No Man's Sky and just all of the DLCs and how it's evolved over the years. So
yeah.
Mhm.
Well, so there's all they need to do. I said they need to get it right day one, and that's not strictly true. They either need to make it a game day one, or they need to be upfront about what they're releasing and do like an early access. But also, I don't see any reason, given how much money they've made from No Man's Sky, I don't see any reason why they need to release it early. I think they can just make sure it's fully baked.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
the one thing I will say is I'll probably buy it right away, only because after, as much as I lost, like I had like you guys kind of fucked me on this. This isn't the game that I thought it was with No Man's Sky. They rebuilt all of that trust with me because they stuck with it. Like, I know that even if I do buy the new game day one and it's missing a bunch of stuff or whatever, I have confidence that they'll add it. It
Yeah.
might take a while, but they'll add it.
See, and that's my thought too. Like, I know eventually, if it does not have everything quite ready yet, and it will eventually, just
Yeah.
showing based off of No Man's Sky, will be there. But
You
then
still-
I can wait. I can wait. There's other stuff to play.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather not pay the full price up front and then get the game 2 years later.
Yeah.
Diablo
Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
So,
one of the surprises of the night was Square Enix continuing the Secret of Mana series with Visions of Mana.
Yeah.
That one, man, Secrets of Mana, I remember playing that one with my brother growing up on the Super Nintendo. And they just came out with Legend of Mana, which was a remake of the original Legend of Mana that only came out in Japan on the Super Nintendo. But this one looks good. It's a fully 3D world, so the main character from it looked exactly like the main character from Secret of Mana, so I'm interested. I'm really keen to see where this goes.
Mm-hmm.
The trailer that was on actually before Visions of Mana was called Casting of Frank Stone. That was an example of trailers that drive me absolutely fucking bonkers.
I didn't see it.
I have no idea what it's about.
Oh.
It's I think it's possibly part of Dead by Daylight world. Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know. But like, there's no context as to what the fuck is going on.
Yeah.
Like maybe people that play Dead by Daylight were like, oh yeah, that's rad.
Yeah,
but
it could be.
like, I'm like, what is this about?
Yeah. But we know which trailer drove me crazy. It wasn't part of the Game Awards, but the GTA 6 trailer.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Fucking. All right. So I'll rant about this for a minute, and then we can go back to Game Awards stuff. So GTA 6, that trailer was a fucking waste of time. It was stupid. They should not have released it. And Rockstar, what the fuck were you thinking? Like, it showed nothing of interest. Yes, it's pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, the people are well rendered. Yes, the vehicles are well rendered. We knew all that. That's not new. It showed us very little. Yes, it showed the protagonists, maybe, presumably.
Yeah.
There was nothing about it other than, like, I don't know. There was the social media stuff, which you said like 12-year-olds might be into.
Yeah.
But to me,
focus on like TikTok kind of shit.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, like to me, that if anything, that trailer made me less interested in the game. In reality, it changed absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
But it legitimately makes me wonder if they are actually doing anything of interest in GTA 6 or not. If it's just an updated, and to be clear, if it's just an updated version of GTA 5, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
GTA 5 was a good game. I'll play an updated version of it. But that trailer was fucking stupid. I expected something like a cool like train heist or like rockets or something that was like, hey, check out the new thing we're doing that's super cool, or this like snippet of a mission. None of that. It was like, hey, check out these people twerking on a cop car. It's like, I don't want that in my game.
Yeah,
That's not something I'm looking forward to.
That's Saints Row style shit there.
It's just weird.
Yeah.
Like I don't.
That's Saints Row.
Well,
Yeah.
and to be fair, I think it was more showing kind of like the setting as opposed to, because it's just the first trailer.
I get that.
It's just the first trailer. So
there's the first problem.
Okay, but well, it's the first trailer, so we know now. Yes, it's in Vice City, or
because
Vice or whatever the fuck they want to call
because
it.
we didn't already know.
Yeah,
that.
I mean, it was very poor kept secret, but just showing like kind of like what to expect, like in the world or in the setting, whatever. Maybe a couple down, but some later trailers, we might fucking see some more shit about what's going on there.
Well, so first of all, there should have been 0 trailers for the game. So the fact that this is the first of TBD is a problem right off the top.
Well, no, they should have showed it at the Game Awards.
Also, yes.
It should have won most anticipated.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
But like, was anybody expecting it to look different than that? Like, is there anyone in the world that was surprised by that GTA trailer? And if so, I'd love to chat with them because I want to know what the fuck they thought it was going to look like.
Yeah.
So like to me, it's just, it feels like they wanted to show off their new game. And that's, the trailers where you're like, I just watched the entire movie because I can tell those are the only 4 scenes of the movie that were any good. This gives me those vibes. It's like, where's the stuff that I'm supposed to be excited about? This is all just a fucking tech demo of your graphics. I've already seen that.
Yeah.
The fucking code was leaked. I don't need this. If it was trying to build hype, it missed by a fucking mile for me. And that's true of everyone that I've pulled on this, by the way. I've talked to a handful of people about this, and of the 6 people that I directly polled on this, 5 said it made absolutely no difference whatsoever to them, and the 6th response was there was a trailer.
Nice.
Yeah.
I don't know, that trailer, like, Rockstar is usually so good at, like, oh my god, I can't wait for that. There was nothing in that trailer that I was like, oh shit.
I bet you what happened was they probably were originally planning on having it at Game Awards. It was leaked early. And the reason they made one at all was because of the Game Awards. Because some...
Well, no, they were going to release the day. They were going to release it the next day anyway.
Oh, well, either way, it's still right around the Game Awards when people are paying attention. And I think probably what happened was some higher up was like, we need a trailer. And so they just threw together what they had that could do a thing rather than showing like... They didn't show the map in there at all. Like that was a different post. That map was so
the
big.
map is cool. The map, like there are things about GTA that I have seen that I'm like, that's super cool. I'm interested. None of it was from that trailer.
No.
I watched it and I'm like, who the fuck cares?
Yeah, it's pretty. I expected that. If it looked like shit, what the fuck?
We already knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super weird. Like if they had showed off like the fast travel. Okay, cool. That's a hot topic right now. Is your fast travel Spider-Man 2 or fucking Starfield?
I don't think there's ever been fast travel in GTA.
I think the closest thing
like
is switching between.
Yeah.
Oh,
which is kind of what I meant. Like, I don't know if they'll do fast travel or not, but
that's basically Spider-Man. That fast travel.
The switching in 5 was, the switching in 5 was pretty quick.
Yeah.
And I would assume it probably will be in 6. But at the same time, like, give me fucking something. At least then I would have been like, okay, cool. Well, that's how you switch protagonists.
Also, why wasn't GTA 5 Online nominated for best ongoing?
Oh, who fucking knows?
I expected it from Rockstar. I knew they weren't going to give you a lot. They were just going to show you like the world and fucking. They were going to show you some set pieces. Like I knew they were going to do that. They're kind of setting the plate or setting the stage, so to speak, for.
Call me crazy though, but the GTA 5 trailer, was
the
it
very
not,
first one?
Was it not them like robbing a bank?
I think so. I know they showed a lot of story cutscenes in that.
Like in the very first
very first GTA 5 sound.
I remember it being like, oh, that looks fucking cool.
I think maybe they know that they already have because GTA 5 is so well beloved and ongoing. They know they don't have to show that shit.
I get it. But then don't fucking show it at all.
Yeah.
Just don't release a goddamn trailer.
Or
release an image that's like, insert memories here. Like, I don't...
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't understand. Now, with that said, I am watching the GTA 5 trailer here, and it actually is... There's not much in here either. Yeah. So that may just be a false memory. This may be typical, but I don't know. That trailer just... I looked at it and I'm like, none of this is fucking pointless. Why did you bother? You wasted my time. You wasted your time.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I think it was just to show people the setting, show people how it's like, you know what I mean? Like that's all I think it was.
Yeah.
Because it was the same. I do remember when GTA 5 came out and everybody was like, oh, sweet, we're going back to San Andreas. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, and I guess maybe that's the problem is like we already know all of that for GTA 6. Maybe that's the problem is that if we didn't already know all of that, it would have been slightly more impactful.
Like I understand. I know what you're saying. Like it didn't need to fucking release a trailer for it.
At all.
Like GTA
not even a little bit.
Everybody's gonna fucking buy that game. Like there's no bones about it. Like even if it's dog shit.
Yeah. Like I said, like I'm not like, oh shit, I'm not buying this game or anything. It's like I was already buying it. This hasn't changed my mind.
We were like Chad and I watched it together and we were just like, wow, this looks really nice.
It looks great. Graphics
looking forward to playing.
Yeah.
That was pretty much the sum of us, I think.
Well, you know what? You're getting fucking worked up, so I'm gonna have to try and do something to cheer you up.
Okay.
Helldivers 2 comes out February 8th, 2024.
That is actually pretty awesome. I'm looking forward to that.
We watched the trailer for that, and then when it showed the release date, I'm like, ooh, Adrian's gonna like that.
Yeah, no, I'm actually looking forward to trying out the new Helldivers because I liked the old one a lot. Yeah, I mean, I've mentioned it before. I wish games would do less trailers and bullshit and just fucking release.
Show the game. Show me game.
Give me something to look forward to, or better yet, just release it when it's ready. I don't need to be looking forward to a game for 2 years before I get it.
And that's what I liked about like a lot of the games that I'm interested in from the trailers. And if we had more time, I'd probably get into it a lot more. But they showed you seen gameplay.
Yes.
And
They're getting better with
I
that.
really dug that. And for games like the first Descendant, I played the beta for that. I am looking forward to playing that game.
Yeah, it was all right.
Yeah, and then like Final Fantasy 16, 2 DLCs just fucking announced. One of them dropped that day.
Yeah.
The other one comes in the spring. So,
Ooh, Blade. There's going to be a Blade game.
oh yeah,
Oh, yeah.
the team
Yes.
that made Dishonored.
That
Yep.
should be fun.
Yeah,
It should be fun. We'll
but
see if it is.
but again, this was a trailer that showed no gameplay.
Yes.
It was
Right.
literally just a cutscene. So
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm getting really tired of that crap. It's like,
Yeah.
just tell me when it's ready.
yeah.
Even
Yeah.
if it's pre-rendered stuff to give an idea of what the gameplay will be like that is a step down from actual gameplay trailer. I like
Yeah.
that we're getting more gameplay trailer, but just a cutscene in itself. I mean, if I was ranking these, it would be gameplay trailer is the best, rendered like pre-generated stuff is next, game cutscenes is third, and then fucking just absolute zero context like OD
Yeah.
is fucking annoying as shit.
Yeah, and then like Blizzard's technique is like off to the side where it's like, this isn't about the game, but it is. We're just gonna make a little mini movie, and
Oh,
Mhm.
I mean, they're
I'm
good.
I'm never sad about those.
no, they're good. They just it's like I that doesn't tell me anything about your game.
No,
but it looks awesome.
and it makes me want to play your game.
Sure, yeah.
It works on me.
Also,
Yeah.
didn't hear a damn thing from Blizzard Activision at all.
No.
No,
They
no.
were very quiet. Well, we had mentioned too that Todd Howard was in attendance, and when they actually put the camera on him, he didn't
was
look
pretty
very
pissed.
happy.
He didn't look
Yeah.
right.
So
I did see that the FTC is still trying to fuck around with the Activision merger.
Oh,
I'm gonna
yeah.
have to look into that for next week because
yeah,
I don't know what they expect to do about it at this point.
Yeah.
but
yeah. I mean, we're gonna do our Dice to Pixels awards probably around Christmas time again, much like last year.
yeah, and
Yeah.
and similar to last year, it's gonna be pretty informal. It's just gonna be the things that we liked and didn't like. We don't have a massive scoring system or anything else.
Ooh,
but
you should make like a little nice wood burn trophy or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
I meant
Yeah.
to do that last year. I will definitely
Yeah.
put. So actually, what I'll probably do is I'll do one up for last year's stuff as well,
Mhm.
Mhm.
or at least the game of the year.
Yeah.
And I want to start actually having them.
I was literally just thinking.
Yeah, I don't
the
know
same.
if we'll get them behind us right away, but definitely
Yeah,
for the studio, put
Yeah.
them.
We'll
Yeah.
start having interesting things behind us.
yeah.
eventually. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
so why don't you tell us what you thought of the Game Awards? What's your winners, losers, and fuck Christmases? What did you think of some of the trailers? What's piquing your interest? What are you looking forward to? Huh? Come on.
Yeah,
tell us.
I want to know what's on people's Christmas lists.
Yeah.
Like if somebody was just going to give you a game, what one you'd want.
Mhm.
And I also want to know if anybody changed their opinion in any way, shape, or form about GTA 6.
Yes.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So thanks for joining us again. We'll be back here next week. Same Dice to Pixels channel.
I
Same
was gonna
Dice to
say,
Pixels.
same place, same time.
Yeah,
same,
I
same
wasn't going to
people.
say Batman, but yeah.
Same time, same channel.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell 3 friends.
Yeah. Tell
We
three
love you
friends.
all.
Yep.
Cheers.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Subscribe and like.